Welcome to the roundup for week commencing the 21st of January 2013. Right, first of all, I apologise for last week's video. I do believe the cursor was stuck. I'm not quite sure why it wasn't moving, but I think some of you managed to see it, but some of you didn't for some reason, so I'm not quite sure what was going on there, to tell you the truth. When I watched it back, it wasn't moving, so as I say, I do apologise. Hopefully this week you will see it moving, and I've also put a highlight on the cursor, so you should be able to see the cursor a little bit more clearly this week. Okay, AUD USD, A is at 1.0855, B is at 95.83, down AB swing. Overall, our long term is short. Retracement up to the 78.6, and therefore, yes, the extension is down here at the 1.27 at 92.39. So let's take a look at the here and now. We've been watching this retracement here with this subswing A to B. It took out the trend line, took out this baseline right here, therefore we expected some sort of retracement. We saw this retracement to the back of this trend line and thought, here we go, this is our potential short, but it has simply continued to retrace. What we did say last week is that if the bulls are going to stay in control, then the bulls are going to have to go after this A part right here, this A point, this A high point, which is 1.0623. They failed to do that, and what we have seen is we've seen a move back towards this up trend line, this point of reference, and we could continue to see that through next week. Let's take a look at the 4 hour. So on the 4 hour, let's zoom out and take a look at the AB. A is at 1.0286 and the B is at 1.0583. Sorry about that. Right, so we had the AB, we've got a retracement to the 78.6. Let's zoom into this a little bit more now, which means that we've got an extension point up here at the 1.27 at 1.0662 area, okay? Now, if we take a look at this, what we did say is we were watching a potential break of a trend line last week on the 1 hour, but what we did see here is we had this AB, we broke this high point here, so we took out a high, scored a point, and started to see this potential pullback right here. Now if we take a look at the 1 hour, what we were saying on the 1 hour, and let's zoom out, what we were saying was we had this AB, so the A is at 1.0393, the B is at 1.0585. We had this uptrend line drawn in here, and when we broke the uptrend line, we had a potential to move down to this outer trend line down here. Now, if you had taken this trade, you would have waited for a break below this trend line before you start to look into taking the trades. And remember what you've got above it is the buy zone, below it is the sell zone, and a potential move still down towards this outer trend line right here. It is making lower lows and lower highs, so next week we've still got potential to come lower. Don't forget, if you're going to be watching this, then what you certainly could do is you could start drawing in these trend lines, these downtrend lines right here, to watch for breaks higher. So we've got an inner trend line, we'd have this inner trend line right here as well. And we'd have this inner trend line in right here as well. And what you can already see here is we've actually had a break here above this inner trend line. So potentially what we could see is a move towards this outer trend line. You're going to have to wait and see what happens there. But even if we move to a smaller time frame, and let's move to the 15 minute. So let me tidy this up just a quick second here. And zoom right out. Let's get rid of some of this. So what we could see here, again, this is for you that are for users that are actually trading short at the moment. Again, remember, moving to the smaller time frames, all it does is it allows us to zoom into the here and now. So it gives us a little bit of a closer picture. Let's tie this up again a little bit here. Let's get this right. Okay, zoom in a little bit. And this will then allow us to put this inner trend line in that we've just drawn in for the 1 hour. Now you can see here that we're making these lower lows and lower highs. You've got this really nice lower lows and lower highs. If you take this move here, this down move here, this was the last high point here, okay? But what we did in actual fact see, this was the main downswing. Look at this, A to B, retracement. So in actual fact, what we've seen is we've seen a break of this low point right here, and when we score a point, what do we see? We see potential pullback. So what we might be seeing on the AUD USD is a move back towards this outer trend line right here. And if we move back to the 1 hour, we'll be able to see that a bit more clearly. This is the outer trend line right here. So what could potentially happen is we may see a move So we might see a sort of a move, and we'd have to take out this point right here. Look, we'd have to take out some of these highs here. So we've got a high point here and a high point here. But effectively, we start moving this sort of direction, and then we're up to this area here. What you could then do is join an uptrend line, and of course, wait for a potential break short if you are looking to trade short. Now, remember, what we are looking at, of course, is on the 1 hour, you've got this up A, B swing, and on the 4 hour, you've got this up A, B swing. But of course, on the daily, what have we got? We've got this main down A, B swing. But of course, this is the latest part of the retracement, giving you these 1 hour and 4 hour down A, B swings. Again, a little bit out of sync. I would like to see the daily 4 hour and 1 hour all in sync, which of course is showing a down A, B. But what we need to do is just watch what's happening. What we can, of course, do is have a look at putting in some sub swings down. So this would be our first A to B retracement, 61.8. Next one to the extension point, 2 to the left, 2 to the right. There it is, 2 to the left, 2 to the right. Look, 2 to the left, 2 to the right. That would have been our next one right there. Then what we get is we get this next one. So the deepest part of this retracement, right, is right before it hits. Would have been right here, look. So look, you see this? Deepest part of the retracement right here before it hits 1.618. So there you go. That would be the latest down A, B sub-swing. So what I'm saying here is we've got this down A, B sub-swing extension towards this 1.618. So if we're going to continue short, what you are looking to potentially see here is you're looking to see this potentially move towards this outer trend line. Once that's happened, what you could do, as I say, is draw this trend line right here and wait for this potential break short. That would give you the heads up that we are going to continue short, or potentially continue short, down towards this sub-swing extension at the 1.618. So that's something to watch on the AUD. But of course, if it broke this inner trend line, then it's expected to go towards this outer trend line, and once again, if it breaks this outer trend line, it could then continue long towards its extension point, which is of course at the 1.618, which is right up here. Okay, so the extension being at 1.0703. Now just let me move back to the daily, 1.0703. Let me put in some here, 1.07. I think I said 03, around about that area right here. So if we are looking to trade on the 4 hour and 1 hour, then what we are saying, of course, is we're saying that this is going to go towards this 1.0703 area up here, which would take out this A high point right here, of course, okay? So potentially that's what we could see, but what I would certainly be looking for, potentially, is I'd be looking to see whether or not this is going to continue down towards this uptrend line, this main point of reference, and when it does, and if it does get to this point, remember, on the smaller time frames, move back to the 1 hour, because up here, look, is your... just zoom out. This is that uptrend line up here, of course. And all we're saying is we're using these inner trend lines to give us the heads up. So potentially what we are saying is we could come to this outer trend line right here, and then we could start to see the fall down towards this 1.68. If we do, all well and good, we can look to take a trade. And what you would potentially look for is when you get to this outer trend line, well, look for something that will give you the heads up. For example, pin bar, inside bar, evening star formation, something that you will be able to look at trading. But if you are going to take this short trade, remember, as far as the 1 hour is concerned, you're long. So if you took the short trade, you will be counter trend trading, okay? So at the moment, I think the AUD is a little bit confusing. So I'm just going to stay away from it for a little while longer until I get some sort of indication. And really, indication to me would be taking out this main trend line here to say, yes, I'm going long. So I'd have to take out this particular trend line right here to say I'm potentially going long. Otherwise, I'd be looking to take the trades, maybe just scalping some trades down towards this main uptrend line. Let's move on. So looking at the Euro USD daily, A is at 1.4246 and the B is at 1.2623. This was the retracement, this main downtrend line. We broke the main trend line, and of course, because we did that, we moved into this area here, which of course is the buy zone. Now, if you were looking at these A, B swings, sub-swings, we also discussed that the extension at the 1.618 had a little bit of convergence with the 61.8, so let me draw that in for you. Here we have the the 61.8 retracement on the main A-B swing, and we had the extension at the 1.618, which gave you a little bit of a convergence and a potential Gartley. So what we were saying was potentially, yes, we could be heading for this 1.618, but what we also said was we were also expecting some sort of retracement because we'd scored a point and therefore potential pullback. If you take a look at this area here as well, of course, this is a high point right here. So once again, if the bulls are going to stay in control, they're going to go after this 1.3486 area. Now, take a look at this on the daily. Look at this, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So what we're also saying is here, what we have got is a little bit of consolidation. Now, we've still got the consolidation. I'm just going to make this a little bit stronger so that we've just got... If we take a look at this, okay, this was the area here where we said, well, a little bit of consolidation right here. So once again, the market's just been moving sideways, a bit of a tight range, and it's not been an easy market to follow or even trade as far as I'm concerned this week, okay? Unless, of course, you're a consolidation trader. And I would suggest that really the majority of us just keep away from it unless that's what you particularly specialize in. And what you would have been looking for if you were trading consolidation is some sort of signal when you got down towards this area right here. This potential little pin bar, of course, will give you a little bit of an indication that potentially we could be retracing, but in my opinion, not very strong at all. But I would certainly still be looking for some sort of move down towards the main baseline. So I'd still be looking for this sort of move here. Then this becomes the battleground. Will it break through? Come back and test it for a continuation short down towards this main downtrend line, or will, of course, it bounce off and continue and aim for this 1.3486 area, because if it does, that means that the bulls are still in control, okay? So let's see what the 4 hour is been doing. Is been or has been? Has been. A, well, the A is at 1.2661 and the B is at 1.3306. And what we were saying was, well, we'd expect this potential retracement back towards this uptrend line. Of course, by doing that, it would then give us a little bit of an indication what might be happening, because if it retraces to this uptrend line, then of course what we'd be doing is we'd be following that. So let's say that we had seen this nice retracement up towards this area here, we'd have been able to draw in our trend line and then watch for one of two things: a breakthrough or a potential break above this downtrend line for a continuation, of course, long, or a continuation short. So we haven't had that yet. All you've seen is this consolidation, and this is the consolidation that we're talking about right here. Look, we've just drawn that in. So this is the sort of area of consolidation that we're looking at right here. Past support, resistance area, consolidation, just moving sideways. And of course, it's not been a very large range either for you to start looking at. What we're looking at here, we've been trading around about 150 pips. Still quite large, but not a great range if you are more than a scalper. Day trading, a little bit difficult as well. So what can we wait for? Well, let's take a look at the 1 hour. If we take a look at the 1 hour, A to B, A is at 1.3036 and your B is at 1.3278. Of course, now you can see this sideways movement a lot more clearly, just really ranging between these two areas right here. If we take a look at that once again, let's just draw this in. Just look at this. This is your range here, look. Just look at that, top to bottom, top to bottom. Okay. Back to the top, back to the bottom. So this is either going to start breaking back towards the top of consolidation, or it's going to break through this area right here. But we've no idea what it's going to do, of course. We don't have a crystal ball. We're just going to have to wait and see what happens. Now, I know one of the members was in actual fact discussing this and is a little bit fed up with this because of this sideways movement. Well, unfortunately, patience is key. There are still a lot of issues, of course, especially the Eurozone. As we all know, it's just a continuation of the issues there. A lot of the retail sales came out for just after Christmas, and they were not great, which obviously says, well, we've still got a bit of an issue, and that's given a little bit of a damper, particularly on the pound as well. Okay, so just be a little bit careful. And again, really, before you start trading the euro, what do we have to wait for? We have to wait for some sort of, Yes, you've got it. We have to wait until we see some sort of movement in the market. A trending market is what we're looking for. We're not looking for this consolidation. So let's wait and see. But again, if you take a look at the 15-minute, and let's move out. Now, this is the 15-minute right here, look. Unfortunately, what this didn't do, this didn't take out this high point right here. So, once again, what we had is we had this very strong uptrend line right here. It did break, but unfortunately, it's taken its time just moving sideways. So, not a lot we can do, really, with the 15-minute there. But you can often see, as you know, we move into the 15-minute and we wait to see or gives the heads up what's potentially happening. Okay, so let's move on.